Hi, it's Jamie from OEM Denied Performance. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install one of our carbon fibre dial kits for the XR5s. We're lucky enough today that we've got a very well-known vehicle to do our demonstration with. It's Mr. Lendout's XR5, which I'm sure most of you know. And I'm just going to basically talk you through the steps so that you can follow this guide and install yourself at home. Okay, so tools that you need for this part of the job is a T25 Torx bit. An extension will make your setup life a little bit easier. A ratchet to fit into the back of that, or the extension. You can use a screwdriver instead, and just a trim tool. Okay. First of all, what you want to do is you want to drop the steering wheel down. So pull the lever down from underneath, pull the steering all the way down, and as far out as it will come, and lock it back up. Then we're going to grab this cover here by just lifting it forward, and you tuck it down here. Now, if you look, there's a Torx screw right here, and there's a Torx screw right here. We're just going to remove those two Torx screws. Now be careful you do not drop these screws, because they are a nightmare to find when you drop them. I normally crack it off with a ratchet like that, and then just do that last piece with my fingers so that I don't drop them, placing them up on top of the dash or in the ashtray for safekeeping. Okay, so now we've got our two Torx screws out. There's basically a clip on the back side of this. So the easiest way of doing this dash part is soft, right? So you want to grab your trim tool like that, pop it all the way through, and basically push down, and then the instrument cluster comes forward like this. And grab it with both hands, pull it all the way forward, and you can just see here, you've got a little connector. Alright, now I'll show you this connector when this is out so that you can see it clearly. There's basically a tang that you push down, a bit similar to disconnecting the ECU. This piece here then folds upwards, and then it just unclips. So push it down with your fingernail, then lift the tang up, and it unplugs. There's the back of it, so you can just see. I'll just shut it for you. Oh. So you just push down on that bit and then lift this section up. And then you can pull this whole instrument cluster out. So now we'll go to the bench and I'll show you how to change them. Alright, so for this bit, a couple of tools you're going to need. You need some flat blade screwdrivers. 2, 3, 4. Makes life a little bit easier. A small baby pry bar that's reasonably sharp. Or a fork. Kitchen fork will do just fine, alright? Obviously you want to make sure you've got clean hands to do this. And you want to have a clean surface to do it. So first of all, you want to take your clocks, and we're going to spin them around. Alright. Now as you can see, there's some little tangs holding all these plastic bits in here, and there's these black tangs here, right? Now it's the black tangs that we're going to do first. We just want to take the flat blade screwdriver and basically pop it into the slot and just unclip it. I find it's easiest to wedge the flat blade all the way in and just leave it in the hole, and then move on to the next one to do it, because you've got to have all the tangs open to be able to get the cover off. So you stick them in like that. So now we've got 2 in there, okay, and then we want to go to our others. So our next one, this one here and this one here, and if you look from above you can't actually see them very easily, so we've got to basically get it all down through here and then unclip them. Oh, it seems that Lendout has already broken these clips when he was doing this last. So if you can't get in with one screwdriver, try another one that's got more of a pointy edge, and it will just slip in that little bit easier. Okay, so now I should have these all unclipped. Pull it apart like that. Perfect. So screwdrivers will fall out, don't worry about it. Alright, so now we've got our two separate pieces, this piece and this piece. Perfect. Now, it's really important when you do this, we've got to take these needles all off. So you need to look at them and see exactly what position they're in. But, of course, because you're looking from above, it will look like it's in line in one section, but if you tilt your head and look from a slightly different angle, it will look like it's in a different position. So what I find is best is to take a text marker and you basically just mark it in line. So we want to eyeball this one here, and go, okay, cool. Or, failing that, grab a ruler. Now, as you can already see, Anthony already has some carbon ones. These were some of our early ones when we were just playing around, and obviously now we've switched over to our different ones. So this is going to be a little bit easier in Anthony's because it's already been apart, but it's exactly the same procedure. So if you want to grab your fork, you can slip that under the underside of this, or because I've got one, I'm going to use a baby pry bar. So you want to be really careful and delicate when you do this. Don't worry about moving the needles because we've already marked where they are. And you basically want to lift it up, and then just get your pry bar or your fork underneath and gently lift it up. Alright, you'll hear it moving. And it's just starting to come up more and more. Now at this point, when it's up that far, you can just slip that fork in and it will just give it a more even lift up like that. You want to have a look at this section here, check you haven't damaged it, perfect. Put it away to one side. Do keep these all separate. So now it's the rev counter. Perfect. Lay that one there. Now it's the fuel gauge. Put that one there. Beautiful. So now it's really simple. You just lift up this, and look, the factory ones are laid out exactly the same as this, so you just lift them up on the corners. It'll be a little bit tighter around there, so you just got to pull it forward, basically give it a bit of a wiggle, slide your hand all the way around it, and just unhook it. Like that, there you go, it's popped off. We'll go to the other side and do the rev counter. There we go. Now if you look closely here, there's a little clip there and a little clip there. That's why we do these two first. Right, we just lift this up, and then you just want to lift it up so it's over the little knobs at the sides, and tease it out. There you go. Okay, now if you've got a load of dust all over your screen, perfect time to just give it a wipe down. I wouldn't recommend using any form of solvent because obviously it is an LCD screen. I normally would just wipe that just with a paper towel, but make sure it's a very soft one or some tissue paper so that it's not going to scratch the LCD screen. You can see we've got some marks here. This is from when Anthony was in his early days and he decided to paint this whole thing green. Yours will just look straight white. Now to install the new ones, dead simple. Install is exactly the same as removal, but just in the opposite procedure, right? So we're just going to lay them down here. We're going to lift it up at the top. We're just going to get one corner in like that, so it's hooked under there, and this knob bit's sticking out. And then do same for this. Now you've got to be careful when you're handling these because these are real carbon fiber, and obviously this is a weak point and this is a weak point, so if you lift that up, it can snap. If that happens, don't worry, it's not all falling apart. It just means you want to put a very tiny bit of double-sided tape in the middle here and at the bottom, making sure you're not blocking off any of the lights, which obviously are underneath here for all the different warning symbols, and that will just ensure that they sit in exactly the right location and won't move around. Okay, so then that corner's in, that corner's in. Now you can see it's just sitting up a little bit on top, so you just got to gently push it behind that clip here, all the way around, using your thumbnail. There you go, that side's in. Do the same with this side. Perfect. Gauges are in. Excellent. Now, dead simple. We just take this front cover again. Now look, when you're doing this, don't put your fingers on the inside. You're going to leave a fingerprint and it's going to look terrible. The other bit. We're going to refit our needles. Okay, now you can just pop these in any position you want. Just push them down. So they're all the way in. Now, as you've seen, I've put these in a completely different spot to how they were to begin with, and that's because to set them up in the right position, you want to move them around. So if we take this to a complete stop, we're looking at 70k an hour. We go all the way around to the front, it goes all the way around. So all that you do is gently with your finger push it, and you'll hear it clicking, and that's it just skipping on the pin. Alright, so I'm going to go that way, check that it's got smooth operation, bring it all the way down to the bottom, and now I look at my mark that I made before, and I check that this is exactly in line with it. Perfect, that's where it's meant to be. Same deal with this. Push it round. Now obviously the most important one in my opinion that you have to get absolutely right is the coolant temp. Okay, fuel, we're going to get a fuel light. If that's like a NADS cock off, it's not going to be the end of the world. Your speedo's not actually that accurate anyway. It can be a NADS cock off, we all know that. So again, just check that that's in line with the fuel. I think I've gone a little bit, not enough. No, I've gone too much. So if you go too far, you just go the opposite way till it stops. Perfect, so that one's in line. Gone too far, so back a go. Oh, not quite enough. No, too far. Perfect. So that one's lining up. That one's lining up with my mark there. That one's lining up with my mark there. And that one's lining up with my mark there. Now look, if you want to remove texture marks, just a tiny bit of metho. Try not to get it on this, but you're not going to be able to see that anyway, so you can just leave it on. Alright, now those are fitted, we just refit this section, nice and easy. So just turn this thing on on its back, and very gently we're going to line up the tang. See, that's the broken tang that I was talking about earlier, and we just want to line it all up. Gently push in, and you'll hear it click into place. There you go, gauge is done. Okay, sorted. So now we can go refit them to the car, and then we can go on and do the boost gauge. Cool, so refitting is exactly the same as removal, but obviously in the reverse. We just want to sneak it in there, lay it down on its face, and reach behind, feel for that electrical connector. Line it up. And as you push down, then just grab that lock tab and boom, she's locked in, okay? Pop it in the back, put the bottom half in first. Right, you'll line it pretty much up, and then just evenly with your 2 thumbs, just pop it in. There you go. As soon as you hear the click, you know you're sweet. Grab your 2 torque screws. Once they're tight, just take a bit of trim, lift it back up, and you just slide it in. Get your steering wheel back in your position, and then it's just a case of ignition on, go through your settings, and we're just going to set our clock. Oh, so this car will not let us go to any further than 2015, so like in our other YouTube videos, we just have to set it to being 1 minute to midnight. And if we set it to 1 minute to midnight and wait a minute, once it goes to midnight, then it will give us more settings. So, but you can follow that in one of our other YouTube videos. But job done. Right, so now we're going to show you how to do the boost oil and temp gauge. This is an RS one. It's different because it's got a 1.8 bar boost reading. I'm just using this for a demonstration purpose. So to remove it from the car, I figured it was easiest just to show you the underside of it. You basically want to start with a trim tool in the corner. Don't try and fully pop it out or you'll crack it in half. Just pop it out, pop it out, pop it out, pop it out, and go all the way along until you've got all the tangs out, and then you lift it up at the front first because of this retaining clamp at the back. Then you'll end up with it out and it'll look like this, okay? Then your next stage is you want to pop these clips all in and then the top bit will come out. So again, flat blade screwdriver or a mini little lever bar, push tang in, start to push it through, move to the next one, push it in, push it through, next one, push it through, and then it will. There's another one here at the back. Just got to get that one out. That one through there. And then this piece lifts off like that. Okay, so then we now just put this away. Now look, this is, like I said, a demonstration one. This one's missing a screw. This cover bit's actually broken. But you would normally just remove the torque screw from there, and then your other torque screw from here. So it's a T25, exactly the same as the other screws that we removed on the main instrument cluster. Do be careful when you tighten these, because if you over tighten them you can crack the plastic. Pull that screw out, and then this piece here comes out like that. Perfect, that's what we wanted. Very similar to the instrument cluster, we've got tangs there, 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 there and there. So, same deal, just for the flat blade, just want to lift the tang up. Again, I find it easier to wedge the screwdriver in there, then move to the next one. You don't want to force it too much, this plastic will flex and you don't want it to actually snap off. And see if you can just start to tease it open a little bit. Nah, this one's been a bit difficult. See, you can start to pull it apart, and then if you don't have enough screwdrivers like I currently don't, you can pull one of them out. Just make sure you hold this gap open with your thumb and finger, and then you can kind of hold it open some more. Keep your thumb wedged in there, go to the next tang, prise it up off the clip. We just got one, that last one in there, which is always the difficult one, at the very end. Yep, good, it's starting to come apart. Let's just kind of engage that one back in there. So we just tease it off. There we go. So now it's just these back two holding this together. Tease it up. Oh, these two are still in there. One. There we go. Cool. So now we got it off. Exactly the same as before. You want to mark it with your texture pen. Obviously when the car's off it's all going to stay at rest anyway, so we just go cool, texture, line, boom. Obviously for those watching in the UK, Australia and New Zealand, Sharpie, texture, everywhere else, permanent marker, same thing. So I'm going to go on a line, boom, so I'm going to be in this bit here. So now you see I've marked it on there because there's not actually any white, and then I'm going to flip it over and go, there's my line there. Oil temp, sorry, oil pressure, similar deal. Oh, put it to rest, find the bit, go to there, flip it around. Alright. Same process as before, gently. Cool, one. Two. Now, as you can see, I'm holding this with one hand whilst levering, and I'm doing that so that I don't just lever it and put it at an angle. So this hand is supporting it, keeping it straight so that it levers upwards, because obviously if you lever it to one side, you're just going to break it. There we go. Cool. Similar sort of deal. Lift it up, pop it out, grab your new one, slide it in, pop it back in there, pop those back on, look for our line, and at this point pop this bit back into here, like that, and then you will just clip that cover back in all the way to the clips, screw this back into this piece here, clip this back into the main piece, and then just pop it back in the car. Alright. Oh, and sorry, I forgot to mention, when you're lifting all the main section out, the electrical connector is here, and it's just a pushing tab, and that's it. I won't reassemble this because this was just for demonstration purposes, and that's it.